Joining me now is Michael Hepburn. He is running Florida's 27th district, and he is a Justice Democrat. Michael, welcome to the program.
Man, thank you so much. Appreciate this.
No problem. Great to have you join us here. So first, let's talk about who is the incumbent in this race. I know she's retiring, but in political circles, she's a little famous. So can you tell us about her a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So my congresswoman for the last 2+ decades has been Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. You're right. So she announced earlier this year that she will be retiring and not running for re-election, or was it last year? All the days are starting to look the same. So yeah, but pretty famous on the Republican side. This is officially now a Democratic district, or a Democrat-led district, as far as the amount of people registered to vote and how we turned out in presidential elections. But she definitely been able to be the congresswoman for a long time. So it's kind of historic that she's retiring, but at the same time, I would like to say that I think we've had something to do with that process and that decision for her.
Yeah, and that's partly why I was asking, because it's now headed towards, it looks like, the Democratic Party, especially in the kind of election that 2018 is shaping up to be. So
True.
You've got 5 Democrats in the primary. So you're a Just Democrat, which means that you don't take any corporate PAC money, and means that you're fairly progressive, to say the least. Are you the most progressive Democrat in the race?
Well, let me back up a little bit. I'm not really a big fan of titles. So when it comes down to the policy that I'm pushing and the things that I stand for, I personally think is just the right thing to do. It's things that's going to allow the American people, working class people in this nation, to move forward, right? So if people call that progressive, then I guess I'm progressive. But the reason I say that is this: we have a whole lot of people running this race, and everybody's pushing the progressive tag, but everybody's doing different things. You got people taking money from Wall Street. You got some folks taking money from Big Sugar. You got some people that's scared to say single payer, but then all of us are saying we're progressive. So now you see one of the reasons why I don't like labels, because if that's been a progressive, then please don't put me in that group.
Man, only in Florida do you have to worry about Big Sugar.
You know?
Right. I mean, everybody's getting bribed up in here. And it's like they're just getting bribed by different people. So in that case, apparently, I'm sorry, I meant campaign donations. Anyway, now you got to worry about sugar buying people off.
Yeah, messing up our water and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yep. So let's talk about your policies then.
Yes.
You mentioned Medicare for all.
Yes, definitely.
So that makes sense. You're pushing to increase Social Security benefits. That's interesting.
I am. I live my mom is actually getting ready to draw down for Social Security. So I had some serious conversations with her last year just about the system. And most of the voters that I meet, one of the first things they bring up is the concept of increasing payout amounts for them, and the amount of money that they receive they feel isn't enough to survive on. And also I get a lot of complaints about just the process to apply, or having access to good information about how the system works, or applying for disability benefits. So it is definitely a major platform push for me to be hands-on with Social Security in this nation, and definitely in this state, and hopefully in my district, because it's a lot of folks that's depending on, on that revenue, in a sense, right? That compensation that they've earned over the years. And I definitely want to push forward the idea that we should be able to increase it. Definitely here in Miami, where cost of living is ridiculous. And I mean, it's a struggle to live here if you have a job. So imagine being retired, or in a sense not working anymore, and you're literally just depending on your Social Security check. It's a little rough.
Yeah, the National Democratic Party amuses me. They're like, whoa, don't say things like increasing Social Security. The mainstream media will ask you, how are you going to pay for it? When it's a program that has 84% popularity. You'd be crazy not to want to increase it if you're trying to win elections, let alone do the right thing by the American voters, especially in a place like Miami.
Yeah, but let's just be real. I mean, a lot of people I'm gonna be very honest about this. A lot of folks kind of just depends on people not voting, right? I mean, one of the reasons why the American people don't get what we deserve is they feel like we're not going to turn out and vote them out of office. You have a whole lot of elected officials that are just pushing talking points every day, every year, every month. They're always telling you they're fighting, but show no results because at the end of the day, they're not trying to engage you to come out and vote. And they know if they keep talking to the same people so they can get reelected over and over again, and everybody else is dissatisfied with the system or believe that it's broken, then nothing would change. So that's part of this process. We have to step up in this nation, and definitely here in the state of Florida, and tell people enough is enough and come out and vote for something different. Vote for people that's actually going to be able to push stuff forward and hold them accountable, including myself.
You also have on your platform ending mass incarceration and for-profit prisons. Do you mean
Yes.
reducing them, or do you mean that's it, you're done, pack your bags, no more private prisons?
I'm more leaning towards number two. I'm more of, I believe we should not be in the business of having private prisons, period. And when it comes down to mass incarceration, I mean, we can go into so many different levels of that related to school to prison pipeline and how we congressional funding, how the different things we do within our school system, or how we're arresting people in masses for certain drugs that I don't think should be on the list for you to get arrested for against the law. I mean, we got so many issues with that. But mass incarceration, definitely me being a black male living in America, one thing I can personally say, it is a problem. It is something that we need to address. And the sad part is it's affecting a lot of people that look like me. So this is something that I am trying to yell on the rooftops about, to let people know we have to do something about this and create solutions. I mean, we actually have solutions. We just got to push them forward. Political will.
Yep. Okay, now your infrastructure spending proposal is not playing around. You're proposing to have an investment of $4.6 trillion.
Yes.
Okay, all right, wow. What are you gonna do with all that money? And on this one, to be fair, where are we gonna get it?
Okay, so what we're gonna do with the money goes back to all of the investments that we need to make across this country in our infrastructure and our bridges and our roads. I mean, even down here, we had an incident at my college, at my university, where one of our bridges actually collapsed and killed a whole bunch of people underneath it, right? Because of, I think, poor investment or poor oversight. But then on top of that, I'm really big about mass transit as well. Like, we literally need to push forth mass transit programs and initiatives and heavy rail and different things like that across this nation as well, especially here in South Dade. So it's so much we can do when it comes down to infrastructure. Now, as far as where the money comes from, we got whole different solutions with that, right? But I am more of, hey, we can do a financial tax. We can eliminate corporate deductions. We can tax corporations, the ones that have all their money overseas. We can stop going to war and maybe reallocate some money from our military spending budget. So we have some options. One thing I can definitely say is it won't be coming from working class people. I really do believe corporations in the top 1% in this nation needs to pay their fair share. So they'll be one of the first people I'm calling.
I think that you answered my earlier question about who's the most progressive person in the race. $4.6 trillion infrastructure.
4.6, but
Yeah.
You know what? Let's be fair. It's not like I'm trying to spend it in one day. I'm literally trying to say we have to be serious about the infrastructure in our nation. We need to really understand that it's something that we have not invested in for a very long time, and we can spread it out over the next 10 years to get this done. So it's not something that I'm saying we have to do overnight, but I am definitely saying within this decade of time, hopefully once we're elected, we should be able to push for some massive infrastructure development throughout our nation, and it's going to spur a whole lot of economic development as well.
Right, I mean, there's no question it would create a massive amount of jobs, and then that also helps the economy, obviously. All right, I want to talk a little bit about your background, because you won the Distinguished Miami Herald Silver Knight in athletics from Miami Central Senior High.
I did. You went way back.
Yeah, I got in a hot tub time machine here. And you had an initiative to take back a local park to make it a safe place for neighborhood kids while you were in high school. I did nothing in high school. Anyway, so how did you do that? How did you get the park back?
It took some time. It took some grit. To be honest with you, I almost lost my life from this initiative. It started in 9th grade. It was a plan of mine to try to develop better relationships with the police department here, to engage my neighbors for us to come outside more and actually take back our park, because if we're not utilizing the space, then other folks that's not doing productive things on that space or in that land will be there, right? So I try to have different events, Get Hype Fridays, weekend football tournaments, different town halls, different meetings at the park, so we can actually take back our park. And the sad part is, over those 3 years, we were really able to kind of push different initiatives and get some partnerships going. And then in 12th grade, when I finally was able to get to the point where it was working, 2 police officers felt that, I guess, a bunch of young black men couldn't be at a park at 7 o'clock playing football, doing something productive. So I actually had a gun pulled out on me and almost lost my life. If that cop would have pulled the trigger, I would not be on the phone with you tonight.
Wow.
So it's the sad part is, not everyone is trying to create opportunity for all. Not everyone believes that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover type of thing. But at the end of the day, if you believe in something, you have to be willing to fight for it. And in my case, man, in high school, I just knew that was something that I wanted. I was tired of getting hit by cars and playing street football and getting cut up in the street and stuff like that from falling. I wanted to play at my park. So that was something I was willing to fight for.
No, you're an amazing guy, man. And Just Democrats try to find local community leaders, and so I think they got one here.
That's cool.
Everybody check out michaelhepburn.com. Please volunteer and donate, because that makes a big difference. He doesn't make any corporate PAC money. Volunteers make a huge difference, and so do small dollar donations. All right, Michael.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Good luck.
Anytime. Thank you.